Your metals also has strength, hardness, and high density value. Most of all, your metals are opaque in color. Okay, so when we study about metals, we have different terms that we need to remember. Okay, so I will um, publish the module for metals later on so that you can read it after the discussion. Okay, so just check your canvas na lang po later. Okay, so what is an alloy? Okay, so when we say alloy, it's a mixture of two or more metals. Okay, when two metals form a solution in the liquid state, their atoms mix randomly on the atomic scale. Okay, so yun po yung tinatawag natin na alloy. Whereas, pag naman sinabi natin or when we ask what is metal, metals or pure metals are rarely used in dentistry. Why? Because they are weaker than they are when mixed with your other metals. Okay, so as we move along with this discussion, we would notice that there are rarely pure metals used in dentistry. Usually, metals are a mixture. Okay, so yung alloy na tinatawag natin. Okay, so there are a lot of discussions in dentistry regarding your metals and your alloys. Okay, so what are the metals used in dentistry? We have your noble, we have your noble metals and your non-noble metals. Okay, good example of your noble metals includes your gold, platinum, and your palladium. Okay, so old term ng noble natin is what we call your semi-noble. Okay, so when we say semi-noble, that's the old term for the noble type of metals in dentistry. Okay, over time, your gold is replaced with your silver. Why? Because your gold, marami tayong factors why we replace your gold with your silver. First is because of the gold's durability when used in dentistry. Kasi po, ang pure gold natin, when we use pure gold, they're too soft for dental use. So, madali siyang ma-deform, madali siyang mag-corrode. So, usually po, what we do is we mix it or we mix it with other metals like your silver para mag-increase yung strength niya. Okay? So, over time, um, hindi na rin siya nagiging pure gold. Eventually, na-overpower na rin siya ng silver. Okay? Second, why did we replace gold with your silver? Because of its cost. Okay? Because your gold, as we all know, mas mahal talaga siya compared to your silver. So, mas affordable ang silver natin, such as your silver amalgam fillings, mas affordable siya compared to your gold fillings. Okay, what else? Over time, like what we said before, um, ang patient, ang mga, what we call this, preferred ng patient natin over time, especially nowadays, is more on aesthetics. So, because of the visibility of the gold, okay? So, over time, nare-replace na rin na siya ng silver. Bakit po? Kasi yung gold natin, it's not as aesthetically pleasing as your silver. Okay? So, yung gold kasi natin, medyo yellowish siya in color. Although maganda siya for some old people, like, it's a status symbol. Diba? Yun nga lang, most people nowadays, they won't prefer gold kasi yellowish siya in color. So, mas gusto nila yung medyo makinang, like your silver. Okay? So, aside from your noble metal, we also have your non-noble metal. So, what are the preformed metals that we will usually see in dentistry? We have your cohesive gold, your amalgam, and your wrought wires. Okay, amalgam, you all know that already. And then wrought wires, we will discuss this further on. Okay. So when we say casting metals is wherein the restoration is fabricated outside the mouth utilizing the lost wax technique. Okay, so gumagamit tayo ng lost wax technique when we do the casting of metals outside the mouth of the patient. Okay, so meron tayong different classifications of your cast restorations. First, we have your intracoronal and your extracoronal. Okay, so pag sinabi natin intracoronal, good example of that is your inlay o yung gagawin mo sa laboratory after the high heat dressing. Okay, and then we have your extracoronal, which is like sa photo, good example of your extracoronal is your crown. Bakit po? Kasi po, it's outside or it covers the whole tooth. Okay? Pag sinabi natin intracoronal, it's within the tooth. Okay? So, only part of the tooth is or merong cast restoration. Okay? So, your cast metal alloys can also be used for bridges and for partial dentures. Okay? So, for bridges natin, usually we will see that sa loob ng porcelain, which is your porcelain fused to metal. And sa partial dentures naman natin, dyan natin makikita, ginagamit siya for the metal framework. Okay? Usually sa PFM din natin, it depends on the situation. Pwedeng nasa labas yung metal, pwedeng may metal backing, or nakarest yung metal doon sa ngipin, or it's within the porcelain inside. Okay? So we have different classifications of your dental casting alloys according to ADA. Okay, so we have high noble alloys, your noble alloys, and your base metal alloys. So, ma'am, ano bang ibig sabihin ng noble? Okay, so when we say noble metals, it means it does not corrode easily or it does not corrode readily. Okay, so bakit po may different classifications tayo ng noble alloys? Okay. So, yung different classification kasi ng dental casting alloys natin, it depends on the percentage of the noble metal it contains. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin high noble alloys, at least 60% of the component is made up of noble metals, such as your gold, palladium, and your platinum. And then 40% of that high noble material is usually made up of gold. Okay? So, yung gold natin medyo nangingibabaw dun sa 40%. Okay? Dun sa 60%. Sorry. So, yung remaining 40% naman ng high noble natin is usually base metals na siya or your precious metals. Okay? So, we mix your gold or your palladium, platinum with your base metals such as your precious metals. Okay? So, next naman, yung noble alloys natin. Okay? At least 25% of your noble alloys are noble. Okay? So, mas mababa siya compared to your high noble. Okay? Yun nga lang, sa noble alloys natin, hindi na kailangan ng may halong gold. So, pwedeng platinum na lang siya, pwedeng palladium na lang, o pwedeng silver na lang siya. Okay? So, mas nangingibabaw sa noble alloys natin yung base metal natin, which is your semi-precious metals. Okay? And then, dun naman po sa base metal alloys natin, they're completely made up of your base metals na lang, either your precious metals or your semi-precious metals. Okay? So, again, your three classification of dental casting alloys according to ADA, we have your high noble alloys, which is your gold, platinum, gold, palladium, and the gold, copper, silver noble alloys. Okay. Next, we have your noble alloys, such as your silver, gold, copper, palladium, copper, and your silver, palladium. Okay. So, again, pag sinabi natin noble alloy, 75% of that is made up of your base metals. Okay? Next naman po sa base metal alloys natin, either um, nickel-based, copper-based, or titanium-based naman siya. Okay? So we'll start with your gold alloys. Okay? Your gold alloys are mostly corrosion resistant. Okay? They're made up of pure gold, which is 24 karat. So 100% 24 karat or 1,000 fine. So your percentage will be multiplied by 10. Okay? So pag sinabi natin sa measurement ng fine sa gold, so 100% of that is equal to your 1,000 fine. Okay? So your pure gold is too soft. Okay? Like I said kanina, pag gumagamit tayo ng pure gold, masyado siyang malambot. So ang ginagawa natin, gold alloys yung mostly na ginagamit natin. So hinahaluan na siya ng different components para hindi ganun kalambot. Para kaya pa natin siyang i-manipulate. Okay, so your gold alloys are classified according to its properties. Okay, so depending on hardness, malleability, and its ductility. Okay, so sa hardness natin, when we say hardness, it's the resistance to penetration of your gold alloy. Whereas when we say the malleability naman, it's the ability to be shaped by tapping. Okay, whereas ductility, it's the ability of your gold alloys to be elongated. So, pwede siyang bumaba or maliit, okay, depending on its property. Okay, so we'll start with your hardness. So, classification according to hardness. So, meron tayong 4 types. We have your type 1 or your soft. We have your type 2 medium, type 3 hard, and your type 4 extra hard. So, yung Vince hardness test natin, yun yung ginagamit nating measurement for your classification sa hardness ng ating gold alloys. Okay, so syempre, when we say type 1 soft, we have lower number of your Vickers hardness test. Okay, so 60 to 90, and then for your type 2 medium, we have 90 to 120. Type 3 hard, we have 120 to 150. And extra hard, which is 150 to 220. Okay? Your platinum is not much used because your platinum is quite expensive. Okay? So, your gold, syempre, expensive na yung gold natin. Mas expensive lang si gold compared to your platinum. Pero mahal pa rin naman si platinum. Okay? What else? Hindi masyadong ginagamit si platinum sa pure platinum natin. Kasi po, mataas yung melting point niya. Okay? And mahirap siyang i-mix with your gold. Okay? What else? Your palladium is used more widely naman because your palladium has good corrosion resistance property and kaya niya pong increase yung hardness ng alloy natin. Okay? So, whereas your silver is precious, nagfo-fall yung silver natin under precious metals, but not noble enough. Bakit? Kasi po, mabilis siyang mag-corrode. Okay? So, unless hahaluan siya with your other types of components, so pwedeng hindi siya mag-corrode, but the pure silver itself is mabilis po kasi siyang mag-corrode. Okay? So, next, we move to your base metal alloys. Okay, so again, your base metal alloys natin, they're made up of less than 25% of your noble metal. Okay, so ano ang primary base metals natin, which is what we call your non-precious materials. We have your copper, silver, nickel, tin, and your zinc titanium. Your zinc is added to decrease the oxidation of your metal alloys. Okay, so like what it does in amalgam. So if you would remember, pag daw po may zinc yung alloy ng ating amalgam, anong nangyayari? Mas mababa yung percentage for it to corrode. Okay, bakit po? Kasi po, na-oxidize niya o nalilinis niya yung um, byproducts ng ating amalgam. Okay? So, your base metal alloys are stiffer than your gold alloys. Bakit po? Kasi po mas mataas yung stress resistance ng inyong base metal alloys since hindi sila gawa completely with your noble metals. Okay, again, pag sinabi nating base metal alloys, they're made up of less than 25% of your noble metal. Okay? Ano lang ang drawback ng ating base metal alloys? Okay? So, yung base metal alloys kasi natin, mahirap siyang i-finish and putulin. Okay? Your base metal alloys have more equipment or needs more equipment to manufacture. Okay? They have higher casting temperature and usually po, your base metal alloys has a lot of biocompatibility issues. Okay? So, if we will use it in the mouth, medyo marami siyang biocompatibility issues compared to your noble metals. Okay? So, what are the alloys that we use for your removable partial denture? Okay, so you would still discuss this with your RPD subject in the future so that you will be um, familiar with the terms. We will discuss it here in dental materials. Okay, so first we have your cobalt chromium. Okay, your cobalt chromium is made up of 60% of cobalt and 25 to 30% of chromium. Okay, your chromium, ito po yung property ng inyong um, cobalt chromium that is resistant to corrosion. Okay, so your cobalt chromium alloy may also contain manganese and silicon, which enhances the fluidity of the molten alloys. It may also contain molybdenum, tungsten, and carbon, which hardens and strengthens the alloy. Okay. It may also contain iron, gallium, copper, aluminum, and platinum. Okay. So most of the time, ang ginagamit natin na material for your removable partial denture is your cobalt chromium. Okay. Kasi po, marami siyang magandang properties. Okay? So, aside from your cobalt chromium, we also have your cobalt chromium nickel. Okay? So, yung cobalt chromium nickel naman natin is made up of 50% of your cobalt and 25% of your chromium. So, ano lang yung nangyari? Nadagdagan lang siya ng nickel, which is 19%. Okay? So, the rest, ganun pa rin naman, meron pa rin siyang manganese and silicon, meron pa rin siyang molybdenum, tungsten, and carbon, and it may also have iron, gallium, copper, aluminum, and platinum. Okay, so ang pinagkaiba lang, it's just that the molybdenum and the carbon level are significantly lower compared to your cobalt chromium. Okay, kasi may dagdag na siya na nickel as a component. Okay. Next, we have your nickel chromium. Okay, your nickel chromium naman po is made up of 70% of nickel and 16% of chromium. Okay, so under this type of alloy used in RPD, meron na rin po siyang aluminum. Your aluminum and nickel forms an intermetallic compound that contributes to the strength and hardness of your metal framework. Okay, we also add beryllium to lower the melting range and also enhance the fluidity and improve the grain structure of your RPD metal framework. Okay, so aside from your nickel, your chromium, your aluminum, and your beryllium, we also add other components such as your manganese, your silicon, your molybdenum, your tungsten, carbon, copper, and your cobalt. Okay, to improve the property of your metal framework. So, if we would go back, again, we have your nickel chromium, cobalt chromium nickel, and your cobalt chromium for alloys usually used in your removable partial dentures. Okay? So, ano-ano po ba ulit yung ginagamit nating casting alloys for your RPD? We have your cobalt, number 1, and your chromium, as well as your nickel. Okay? So, the rest, they're added to improve the property of your metal framework, such as your iron, titanium, beryllium, gallium, carbon, aluminum, molybdenum, and your vanadium. Okay? So, the components that are attached to prostheses is made from metal alloys. Okay? So, yung mga components po na nag-a-attach dun sa prosthesis natin for the precision and non-precision attachments such as your bars are made up from metal alloys such as your high noble, and your base metals. Okay? So, pinaghahalo-halo po natin yung high noble, and base metal ninyo for the components na naka-attach doon sa prosthesis natin or doon sa denture natin. Okay? So, if meron tayong ginagamit na alloys for your RPD, syempre, meron din tayong ginagamit na alloys for your fixed partial dentures or your FPD. Okay? So, first we have your nickel chromium. So, which is made up of 62 to 80% of nickel and 11 to 22% of chromium. We add beryllium 0.5 to 2%, okay? And we also add manganese, silicon, molybdenum, tungsten, carbon, iron, gallium, aluminum, niobium, titanium, and zirconium to improve the property of your fixed partial denture na metal part. Okay, so aside from your nickel chromium, we also have your cobalt chromium, which is made up of 53 to 65% of cobalt, 27 to 32% of chromium, and 2 to 6% of your molybdenum. We add manganese, silicon, iron, copper, platinum, tungsten, ruthenium, and tin to improve the properties of your cobalt chromium alloy used in FPD. So far po for your FPD, dalawa lang po yan. And if you would notice, yung components niya po, hindi siya fixed like your RPD. Bakit? Kasi po, mas konti yung metals na ginagamit natin for the FPD. Depending on the situation, okay? So, kung alin po ang mas magandang gamitin for your patient, yun po ang pipiliin natin. Okay? So we have your cobalt chromium and your nickel chromium for your fixed partial dentures alloys. Okay? So usually po the alloys start to form crystals as they cool down after being poured into the molds. Okay? Small crystals produce better qualities than your larger ones. Okay? Like the property in composite before, you would notice na kung mas maliit yung size ng particle, remember, or sa amalgam ninyo, the smaller the particle size, the better. Okay? Kasi mas madali siyang i-polish. Okay? So, some alloys such as gold may be reheated because of, or the annealing, okay, to improve the property. So, like I said kanina, your gold kasi, mabilis siyang ma-deform. Okay? So, pwede nyo siyang initin ng initin as much as you can to improve the properties. Okay? So, for your base metal alloys naman po, hindi recommended ang i-reheat. Okay? Kasi po, pag nire-reheat natin yung base metal alloys naman, bumababa naman yung quality niya. Unlike your gold, it will improve the property. Yung quality naman po ng base metal alloys ninyo, when you continue to reheat it over and over, bumababa po yung quality ng base metal. Okay? Next, we move to your porcelain bonded alloys. Okay, so yung porcelain bonded alloys natin, we also use high noble, and base metal alloys for porcelain bonded alloys. The composition is slightly modified to make them more compatible with your porcelain material. Okay, so how do we make the composition more be more compatible with your porcelain? Okay, what we do is we blend and mix the materials to withstand high temperature when porcelain is fired. Okay, so usually po ang porcelain natin when it is fired or kapag niluluto po siya sa laboratory, it undergoes 850 to 1350 degrees centigrade in heat. Okay, so most of our metals um, only have lower um, can only withstand lower heating temperatures. Okay, so small amounts of indium and tin are added to form oxides on the metal surface to which the porcelain is bonded. So nagdadagdag tayo ng indium and ng tin doon sa metal surface kung saan po didikit yung porcelain natin. Okay, silver and copper is not used to avoid the green staining of your porcelain. Why? Kasi po when once heated, your silver and copper, nagbabago po siya ng kulay. Diba? So, ang mangyayari when you use silver and copper with your porcelain, magsisi-through lang yung ating metal doon sa porcelain ninyo. Okay? So when porcelain fused to metal restorations are constructed, layers of porcelain are fired in an oven on the metal base to cover the metal's dark color. Okay, so the body and the incisal porcelain are added in layers to simulate the enamel and dentine colors and translucency. Okay, so like what we do in composite, you would discuss that later on sa ibang subjects ninyo. Hindi lang tayo basta-basta nagpo-form ng bulk when we restore the tooth. Okay, so same with your FPD, hindi rin po siya isang bagsakan lang na finifill ng porcelain. Okay, so what we do is we add layers para po ma-simulate yung kulay ng enamel and ng dentine ninyo para maging kakulay siya nung natural na tooth. Okay, so porcelain and metal should have compatible rates of thermal expansion or else your porcelain will crack. Okay, so remember, magkaiba po ang property ng porcelain ninyo with your metal. So what we do is we blend and we mix, we modify the metals para po maging compatible siya with the porcelain. Para kahit na mag-expand man si metal under heat, hindi niya masisira yung porcelain once they bond together. Okay? So there are 3 groups of precious metals used for your PFM. Okay, again, your precious metals falls under your base metal alloys. Okay, so type 1, we have alloys containing 90% of gold, platinum, palladium, with small amount of iron, indium, and tin as hardening and bonding agents. Okay, so yung nakita niyo po kanina na parang may gold sa ilalim ng porcelain. Ayan. Okay, tapos meron naman tayong silver or metal lang po yung nasa ilalim. Okay, so meron tayong different types of or different groups of precious metals used to or used for porcelain fused with metal. Okay, so again, your type 1 is made up of alloys that has 90% gold, platinum, or palladium na may small amount of iron, indium, and tin as hardening and bonding agents. Okay. Next, we have your type 2 naman, which are alloys containing approximately 80% gold, platinum, palladium with trace additions of iron, indium, tin, and silver. Okay. Doon naman po sa type 3 ninyo, there are alloys that contains palladium and silver alloys na siya. Okay, so yung nakikita nyo dun kanina na parang hindi na color gold yung ilalim or mostly dun sa makikita ninyo na PFMs nowadays, ito na siya, yung type 3 na, yung alloy containing palladium and silver alloys na. Okay? So, when it comes to biocompatibility ng ating metals sa dibdib, your noble metals are more biocompatible than your base metals. Bakit po? Kasi po, your noble metals corrode less. Okay? Yung corrosion products po kasi or yung corrosion po ninyo, it may cause allergy sa part ng patient. Okay? Your nickel is associated with allergy. Okay, so according to studies, 9 to 12% of population is allergic with your nickels, especially in women. So paano po natin nakikita yung allergy or yung allergic reaction ng patient? Usually seen on the gingival tissues in contact with your metal. So for example, nagtatry in kayo ng RPD, with metal framework or nagtatry-in kayo ng FPD na may metal backing or may FPD na PFM, porcelain with metal. So, makikita niyo po sa gingival tissues in contact dun sa metal. Okay? Mostly, more severe kapag fixed prosthesis kasi po talagang dikit yung metal dun sa gingival tissues. Okay? So, ang nangyayari po, nagkakaroon ng skin response dun sa oral tissues. Okay? So, makikita nyo po, namumula siya or nagkakaroon ng what they call this, nagkakaroon ng singaw, katagalan pag fix nyo na yung material doon sa bibig ng patient. Okay? So, beryllium is added to the nickel chromium to reduce the fusion temperature and create smaller crystals. Okay? Yun nga lang, pag ginawa natin yun, it may also cause allergy sa part ng patient and once inhaled can cause lung disease called your berylliosis. Okay? So, next we move to your solders. Okay, so sa solders naman natin, when we say solders, these are alloys that are used to join the metals together or repair cast restorations. So, meron tayong different types of solders or we have two types of solders that we usually use in dentistry. Okay, so usually, when we join metals together, minsan kasi it needs assistance in joining it or combining it. Okay? Or kapag magre-repair tayo ng cast restoration, say for example, your orthodontic wires, your fixed partial dentures, or your FPDs, yan. Gumagamit tayo ng solder to join the metals together. Okay? So, we'll start with your gold solder. So, saan natin ginagamit ang gold solders natin? We usually use it to join bridge units, to add contact, okay, to correct marginal deficiencies, and to close holes from occlusal adjustment. So, usually, sa process ng ating FPD, hindi kagad natin siya when we send it to the laboratory, hindi kagad natin siya pinapalagyan ng porcelain. So, say for example, ang treatment natin for the patient is PFM or porcelain with metal or porcelain fused with metal. What we do is, so, nagtatry-in muna tayo ng metals natin bago natin siya ipag-glaze with your porcelain. So, when we trial or when we do the trial with your metal coating, if kailangan nating mag-adjust, say for example, medyo makapal yung nagawang metal coping ng laboratory natin, what we do is, pwede din naman natin bawasan yung metal. So, if we accidentally nabawasan natin siya ng medyo madami-dami, pwede kayong gumamit ng gold solder to close the holes from the occlusal adjustment. Or, say for example, yung metal coping ninyo is medyo kulang pagdating dun sa margins, pwede kayong gumamit ng gold solder or ng gold solder to add material doon sa margins. Okay? Whereas, kapag naman alam ninyo na sobrang kulang or sobrang nipis nung nagawang metal coping sa bridge unit ninyo, you can use your gold solder to add contact, okay? Or to add material doon sa metal coping ninyo, okay? What else? So, aside from your gold solders, gumagamit din po tayo ng silver solders. Your silver solders, usually, yan na magagamit nyo pagdating sa orthodontic subject ninyo. Okay? So, we use your silver solders for orthodontics and pediatrics. Okay? We solder the wire components to removable orthodontic appliances. Okay? And we solder the fixed space maintainer components. We use your silver solders para po pagdikitin yung mga components ng inyong space maintainers. So, you will tackle the silver solder once nasa orthodontic and pediatric subjects na kayo. Okay, so good example for this is yung soldering ng inyong arch wire with your molar band. Okay? Yung silver solder natin to fix this to mga. So the solder alloy should typically have a lower melting temperature than the cast restoring. Actually, pwede nyo gamitin yung blowtorch ninyo for soldering solder ninyo or solder alloy ninyo. So for gold solders, the higher the gold content, the lower the pag pure gold. For solders naman, the tin is added to lower the melting temperature and improve the flow of your silver solders. Your silver produce stronger joints and need lower heat to melt so they do not weaken the wire adjacent to your solder joint. Okay. Next, alloys that have been mechanically changed into another form, or it can be shaped as a flat plate or a wire. It's harder and has a greater yield strength. The point at distance to define ay napaputol. Putol pa rin.
Nawawala-wala po ito kanina.
Okay. So, saan ako nag-stop? Saan yung huli yung naintindihan?
Sa last 2 slides to.
Okay. Okay. Sa silver solders or sa solders in general?
Sa silver solders.
Tama?
Opo.
Okay. So, again, pag sinabi nating silver solders, aside from your gold solders, yung silver solders naman po, ginagamit natin siya for, madalas, for orthodontics. So, when do we use it sa orthodontics? To solder the wire components to your removable orthodontic appliance. Ginagamit naman po natin siya in pediatrics to solder the space maintainer components. Okay, so good example for this is this image. Okay, so this is your molar band, should have a lower melting temperature. So, should have a lower melting temperature compared to your cast restoration. Okay? So, yung cast restorations nyo kasi usually, mataas talaga yung melting temperature niya. It needs a higher degree of heat para mag-melt siya. Okay? Compared to your solder alloy naman, kahit na blowtorch nyo lang yung gamitin ninyo, it would melt easily. Okay? So, for your gold solders po, the higher the content of your gold doon sa gold solders ninyo, mas mababa yung melting range niya. Mas madali siyang ma-deform kapag mas maraming gold content. Okay? For your silver solders naman po, we add the tin dun sa silver solder ninyo para bumaba yung melting temperature and mas mag-improve yung flow property ng silver solders natin. Your silver solders, they produce a stronger joint kasi po, wala siyang gold content. So, mas mahirap siyang i-deform. Okay? Although meron siyang tin to lower the melting temperature, pero once na set na siya or hindi na siya mainit, they produce a stronger joint. Okay? Mas matigas siya compared to your gold. Okay? And usually, sa silver solders natin, it only needs a lower heat to melt. Okay? Para po hindi nawi-weaken yung wire na katabi ng solder joint ninyo. Okay? Yung wire kasi, magkaiba yan ng heating temperature compared to your solders. Okay? Yung solder ninyo, usually po, mas manipis yan compared to your wires. Okay? Parang sobrang nipis lang na alambre yan. Okay? Magme-melt lang talaga siya. You will handle this naman once na nasa orthodontic and pediatrics na kayo na subject. Okay? So, next we move to your wrought metal alloys. Your wrought metal alloys have been mechanically changed, or these are alloys that have been mechanically changed into another form, okay, which can be shaped as a flat plate or as a wire. Okay, so yung resulting alloy is harder and has a greater yield strength, which is a point at which a force produces a permanent deformation doon sa material. Okay? So, yung wrought metal alloys ninyo has a resistance to deformity, which can be modified by heating or by annealing. Okay? Next, we move to your wires. Okay? So, under your wrought metal alloys, we have your wire. Your wire is a wrought metal which can be soft and easily shaped or may resist bending as does a spring. Okay? So, kailan po natin ginagamit yung wire natin? They're used for clasps in partial dentures. Okay? So, ano-ano yung materials or wires na ginagamit natin for partial dentures? We have your stainless steel, made up of iron, carbon, and traces of manganese, chromium, nickel to resist the tarnish and the rust. Okay, so aside from your stainless steel, we also use your PGP or platinum gold palladium combination. Okay, for clasp in partial dentures. Your arch wires and ligatures are used in orthodontic appliances. Okay, arch bars and ligature wires are used in oral surgery for fracture stabilization. Okay, so yung arch wires and ligatures ninyo, um, you will tackle that more in your orthodontic subject, whereas the arch bars and the ligature wires naman, you will handle that in your oral surgery subject. Okay? Okay, so we start with your arch wires, okay? So ano po yung arch wire natin? Yun po yung nakikita ninyo or yung ginagamit ninyo when you have your braces, okay? Yung mga wires po na nagko-connect with your brackets. Yun po yung tinatawag natin na arch wire, okay? Usually po yung arch wire nowadays, preformed na siya, okay? Preformed na siyang nabibili or puwede din po na, um, yung isang buong arch wire yung bibilhin and then the dentist will, um, wire bend according sa, um, state ng oral cavity ng patient. Okay? So, depending on the oral cavity or depending on the situation sa patient, puwedeng preformed or puwedeng yung straight na arch wire ang bibilhin and then the dentist will do the wire bending. Okay? Next, we have your ligature wire. Kailan po natin ginagamit yung ligature wires natin? So, when your orthodontist straightens a tooth that is twisted or turned, the arch wire, yung wire, nakikita natin na nakadikit sa mga brackets ninyo, it must remain securely in the slot ng bracket. So, usually kasi, di ba, ang nangyayari, natatanggal yung bracket or natatanggal sa, what do you call this, sa slot, yung wire ninyo. Okay? When the tooth is twisted or turned. Kasi, mahirap siyang, hatakin nung arch wire lang. Okay? So, what we do is, gumagamit tayo ng ligature wire to secure the arch wire doon sa bracket ninyo. Okay? Para makapag-exert ng substantial opposing force para ma-straighten yung tooth ninyo. Kasi pag hindi kayo naglagay ng ligature wire dyan, what happens is natatanggal lang yung arch wire ninyo, hindi rin nahahatak or hindi rin nako-correct yung twisted or turned na tooth. Okay? So what we do is we use ligature wires to secure the arch wire in place doon sa bracket. Okay? All while yung arch wire ninyo naglalagay ng enough opposing force para mahatak or makorek yung twisted or turned na tooth. Okay? Okay, so aside sa orthodontics, we also use your wrought metals in endodontics. Okay, so dito na pumapasok yung endodontic files and reamers natin. Okay, so an example of your wrought metal alloy which have been twisted to produce the cutting edges. So yun po yung endodontic files natin. So yung wrought metal alloy, it has been twisted to produce cutting edges. Okay, so endodontic files may come in two types. Okay, so meron tayong stainless steel and meron tayong nickel titanium. Yung stainless steel po kasi ninyo, hindi siya ganun ka-flexible. Matigas talaga siya kasi nga, they're stainless steel. So, yung other type ng endodontic files ninyo is your nickel titanium. Your nickel titanium is more flexible than your stainless steel. Okay? Mas madaling mabend yung nickel titanium ninyo. Your reamers are similar to your files but with fewer twists and mas mabilis makakat ng soft tissue yung reamers ninyo. Okay? So, para saan yung cutting edges ng endodontic files natin? To shape and clean the root canal after natin matanggal yung pulp tissue. So what we do is we clean and we shape the root canal in preparation for the filling materials that we will place after we remove the pulp tissues. Okay? So, ang sample ng ating reamers and ng ating files are as follows. So, yung different colors ng ating reamers and files corresponds to its sizes. Okay? So, meron din po tayong rubber stopper pagdating sa reamers and sa files natin, which indicates the working length of the tooth you're going to work on. Okay, so your reamers and your files also comes in different sizes or in different lengths depending on what you will need sa patients ninyo. Okay, but you have to remember the different colors doon sa handle ng reamers and files ninyo corresponds to its file sizes. Okay, so different sizes yan. Merong 10, 25, 30, and 35. So, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, pataas hanggang 80. Okay? So, anong itsura ng reamers and files natin if it's within the root canal? So, what we do is we insert the file to clean and shape the root canal after the pulp tissue has been removed. Okay? So, bakit kailangan natin ng malinis yung root canal natin? Para po mawala yung bacteria that may cause problems eventually doon sa tooth. Okay? So, if ayaw ng patient na ipabunot yung ngipin niya because he wants or she wants to preserve the tooth structure, okay, we use files para po palakihin and para linisin yung root canal natin to prepare it for the filling material that we will put doon sa canals. Okay? So, aside from the previously mentioned wires that we use in orthodontics for your arch wire and your ligature wire, we have other types of wires pa that we use, okay? Your wires for your orthodontics are composed of base metal, stainless steel, cobalt chrome, or cobalt chromium nickel, titanium, and your titanium nickel, okay? Your wires that you use in orthodontics should be able to resist deformity. Okay? This resistance creates a memory in the wire, so it tries to reassume its original shape, which enables the wire to move the teeth. Okay? So, kaya po important na kailangan bumabalik po tayo sa orthodontist natin for adjustment. Okay? Because you have to remember this property ng wires used in your orthodontics. Okay? Your wires in orthodontics should be able to resist deformity. Okay? Yung resistance na yon, it creates a memory doon sa wire. So, it tries to reassume its original shape. If hindi kayo bumabalik for orthodontic adjustment, what it does, yung wires ninyo, magre-relapse lang. I-relapse niya lang yung dating shape ng ngipin ninyo. So, instead of correcting it, ang nangyayari, either nare-retain as is or bumabalik sa dati yung position ng ngipin. Okay? Whereas, kapag bumabalik kayo for adjustment, what it does is, before pa before pa dumating dun sa point na mare-reassume ng wire yung dating position nung ngipin, it will be able to move the teeth to the proper position. Okay? So, yung wires na ginagamit natin in orthodontics have different diameters or gauges. So, the thicker the wire, the smaller the gauge. Okay? So, makikita nyo rin yan once na mag-orthodontics na kayo. So, merong different diameters or merong different gauges yung ipapabili sa inyo na wire for you to be able to wire bend. Okay? So, ano-anong metals yung usually makikita natin? We have your night-eye spring, your arch wire, your brackets, your buckle tubes, your um, metal bands, and your ligating module or yung rubber na ginagamit ninyo. Okay? Next, we also use lingual retainers for orthodontics. Okay, they are used to maintain the position of the teeth after orthodontic treatment. Okay, they are adapted to the lingual surface of your anterior teeth and bonded with composite. So, minsan, sa patients natin, if they know that they could, they call this, they could have lingual retainers, they opt for this kind of treatment after orthodontic treatment. Okay? Kasi as you would know, like it was said before, once na nag-orthodontic treatment kasi kayo, it's very important na naglilingual retainer or nagre-retainer kayo in general. Bakit po? Yung retainers po kasi ninyo for life na yan. Okay? Yung retainers ninyo, it retains the position of your tooth as is after the orthodontic treatment. If you're not gonna wear your retainers, more or less, over time, magre-relapse din yung ngipin ninyo. Parang so far, sa mga na-encounter ko na patients in the practice, usually nagkakaroon ng relapse or nagkakaroon ng spaces doon sa ngipin after 3 to 5 years without them using retainers. Okay? Kasi po, pag hindi kayo gumagamit ng retainer, bumabalik lang din sa dating position yung ngipin ninyo. Okay? It assumes the original position of your tooth before. Okay? Kasi wala na siyang force na nag-a-apply sa kanya for them to be retained in the corrected position. Okay? So, yung lingual retainers ninyo, ginagamit natin sa patient yan if ayaw ng patient na kita yung wire when she smiles or when he smiles, ayaw niyang may nakikitang wire or ayaw niyang malaman ng ibang tao na nag-orthodontic treatment siya, they can use or we can provide the patient with lingual retainer. So, ang ginagawa natin, yung wire, we adapt it dun sa lingual surface ng anterior teeth, either sa upper or sa lower or both, and then we bond it with the composite. So, retained yung anterior teeth doon sa original position nila. Bakit sa anterior teeth lang natin ginagawa? Kasi mostly sa mga patient, they only want the anterior teeth to be retained in their corrected position kasi yun yung unang nakikita when they smile or when they talk. Okay, so what we do is we put lingual retainers usually sa anterior, meron din naman sa posterior. It's just that usually kasi pag sa posterior, natatanggal siya kasi syempre bonded with composite and mas mataas yung masticating forces that we exert in the posterior teeth compared to your anterior teeth. Kaya usually, what we do is sa lingual surface ng anterior natin siya nilalagay. Okay? So aside from endodontics, aside from your orthodontics and pediatrics, we also use metals in your surgery. Okay, so meron tayong mga materials or implant materials that we use in surgery. Okay, so yung implant materials natin, they are used as anchors for your prosthetic replacement of missing teeth. Okay, it can either be one or more single units as crowns or bridges, or we can use your implant materials to support your dentures. Okay, so meron tayong 3 types of your implant materials. We have your subperiosteal, transosteal, and your endosseous implant materials. Okay, again, your implant materials are only used as anchors. Okay, anchors lang po sila for your prosthetic replacement ng nawawalan nating ngipin. So, either it can be one single unit of crown or it can be multiple unit for your fixed bridge. or it can be a multiple unit to support your dentures. Okay? So, three main types of your implant materials. We have your subperiosteal, transosteal, and your endosseous implant material. So, pag sinabi nating subperiosteal, nasaan lang siya? Okay? Nasa ibabaw lang po siya ng ating um, bone. Okay? Subperiosteal lang siya. So, nasa ilalim lang siya ng um, periodontic tissues natin. But it's still embedded in your bone. Okay? Next is your transosteal. Okay? And then we have your endosseous implant material. Okay? Which is completely embedded sa ating bone. Okay? So these implants are made of, wait lang po. These implants are made of titanium or titanium alloy. Yung titanium alloy natin is used mainly for implants because of their biocompatibility. Okay? Yung pure titanium kasi natin is not as rigid as the alloy. Okay? Kasi nga po, again, pag ginagamit natin yung pure form ng metal, hindi siya completely biocompatible or hindi siya ganun katigas compared to when we mix it with other types of metals. Okay? When we mix it with other type of metals kasi, we improve its quality or its property. Okay? So these implants are retained by intimate contact with your bone. Okay? So, intimate contact with the bone, nagkakaroon dapat siya ng osseointegration. Okay? Some implants are coated with calcium phosphate or your hydroxyapatite or plasma proteins to improve the osseointegration. Okay? So you will discuss this more in your oral surgery. It's just that you have to understand that the materials used for the implant um, are made up of metals as well. Okay, so what we do is, we coat it with um, several organic materials para mas mag-improve yung osseointegration niya with the bone. Okay? Para mas maging compatible siya sa bibig ng pasyente. Okay? So, good example of your dental implant is as the photo. Okay? So, yung mga katabi niya, yan, natural tooth yan. And then, we put the implant material embedded into the bone and then nagkaroon ng osseointegration and that's when we put the crown. Okay? Next naman po, this is an example of your single unit na dental implant. Whereas kapag naman po for support ng inyong denture, we put several or multiple units of implants para po masupport yung size ng ating dentures. Okay? So, aside from what we have discussed kanina as endodontic files and reamers ninyo, we also use metals when it comes to endodontic posts. Okay? So, the posts are metals or non-metal rods placed in the root canal after ninyo malinis yung kanal. Okay? So, tapos na nating magamit yung endodontic files and reamers ninyo. Gumaling na yung root canal ng patient. So, ready na siya for the next type of treatment, which is your endodontic posts. Okay? So, kumbaga, nasa final treatment planning na tayo ng endodontic treatment ninyo or root canal treatment. Okay? So, yung posts natin can either be metal or non-metal rods placed in the root canal. Okay? So, anong purpose ng post natin? To retain the core buildup over which the crown is placed. Okay? After the root canal po kasi, usually, what we do is we cover the tooth with crown. Okay? As a final restoration. Bakit po? Kasi po, once na na-remove nyo na yung pulp tissue, remember, your pulp tissue is the source of nutrient of tooth. Okay? So, once natanggal na natin yung source of nutrient ng ngipin natin, what will happen? Of course, your tooth structure will weaken over time. So, what we do is we put crown para po maprotektahan yung remaining tooth structure natin against fracture. Yun po. Okay? So, anong purpose ng post natin? Para po ma-retain yung core build-up sa crown natin kung saan natin ilalagay yung final restoration. Okay? So, ano-ano ang classification ng ating endodontic post? We have an active and passive post. When we say active post, they engage the canal surface with threads. Okay? Pag naman po passive post, cemented lang siya into the canal space. Okay? So, pag active, gumagamit tayo ng threads to better para mas maging adhesive yung endodontic post doon sa canal or root canal surface ng ngipin. Whereas, kapag ginamit naman natin yung passive post, what we use is gumagamit lang tayo ng cement para dumikit yung post doon sa root canal space. Okay? So, may classification din po tayo by shape. We have parallel and tapered posts. Okay? So, classification by material ng ating endodontic post, pwedeng metal, pwedeng non-metal. Okay? So, yung non-metal kasi natin, of course, it's made up of plastic. Pwede po yun. Okay? Meron din tayong metal post, meron tayong plastic na endodontic posts. Okay? Classification by manufacturing method, it can be custom-made or preformed. Kapag po custom-made kasi siya, it's made from a wax or resin pattern made directly on the tooth or indirectly in the laboratory using lost wax technique. Tapos, once na makuha nyo na yung copy or yung pattern nung root canal, doon na po naka-attach yung core nung inyong post and core. Okay? So, pag custom-made, kayo po ang gagawa ng copy ng canal ng patient. Okay? Whereas, kapag naman, then after that, you send it to the lab and then laboratory na po ang magpa-process nung core nung inyong post. Okay? Yung core po, yung nasa loob ng post ninyo or yung nandoon sa root canal area. Okay? I will show you the illustration later. Then we have the preformed. Yung preformed naman po, they rely for retention sa shape, diameter, length, and cementation na gagawin ninyo. Okay? So, yung preformed na endodontic post comes in kits with drills specific to the size of your post. Okay? The core is not attached. Nakahiwalay po siya. It needs to be made from amalgam, composite, or hybrid GIC. Okay? So, yung mga mabibili ninyong kits, mga posts lang yon. May kasama lang siyang drill, specifically naka-correspond doon sa size ng post ninyo. Yung post din po na mabibili ninyo as kits, meron siyang different